fixing to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother. The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
I'm Pat Riley.
This is good night, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today, we're going to screech out the parking lot because we're bad to the bone with our friend
Joe Kaye.
Joe Kaye is here. And
Because we hate school.
school sucks,
We
man.
hate school and we love rock and roll. That's what it is.
We hate school.
Rock and roll. Before we get into it, this has been, we've been building this angle for weeks now, and we're finally going to pay it
That
off.
was a blow-off.
Today's the blow off because, ladies and gentlemen, we've got two atomizers of McGraw and McGraw Southern Blend.
So this will be the best smelling Scudcast that there is anywhere.
So we shouted these people out already, but I can't say again. Thank you so much to our GoFundMe donors who got us these two atomizers of Tim McGraw branded perfume.
Oh my God.
Perfume. I almost said perfume. Cologne. Shout out to Cale Evans, Eric Sternberg, Stephen Parks, and of course my mom, Gail Langley. All put in some money to get Mr. Goodnight hooked up
Thanks,
with
everybody.
these.
Yeah, let me spray some on right now,
Yeah,
so I
so-
can smell real good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I got a couple of index cards. I was gonna spray a little bit on one and a little bit on the other, and we'll because we were trying to.
a department store.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we were trying to determine the difference between classic McGraw and Southern Blend, and I was saying Southern Blend probably smells like
more of an
biscuits
oaky-
and gravy.
No,
yeah.
I'm saying leather and wood. That one's got the leather and wood sort of effect. And then regular McGraw probably has a...
You don't
It's
think
hard
that
to open,
the
man.
You don't think Southern Blend was just aged for years in oak casks?
in a whiskey
Yeah.
barrel.
Yeah.
Possibly. Well, they both have like leather trim on the
Which
atomizer.
one does Faith Hill like more?
Oh,
Which
that's a-
one? Yeah. Which one?
I'll conduct a taste test. It fell over here.
There went the Southern Blend. So let's see. I'm gonna.
This is the regular one. I'm just going to spritz it on for a second. That's why I can smell as McGraw as I can.
Yeah, this ain't the Jordache kind.
Yeah, this is not the budget. Because to fill in Joe, Mr. Goodnight has been told us that he had been relegated to the Jordache
dollar store knockoff.
Tim McGraw, and I said we have listeners who would have about $20. We can get an atomizer full of real McGraw. So
Absolutely, you just got to get to a Kohl's where all
here's-
celebrity endorsed products.
here's the thing: this cologne has been pretty much discontinued.
Really?
The McGraw website is no longer active. I had to get both of these atomizers off of eBay, actually. So.
Whoa.
So I smell rare today, too.
Yes, you're in rare
Yeah,
form.
you smell limited edition. So
So this is the Southern Blend, and then let's see, where's the?
I've been smelling this
that's
one on
not
me.
bad.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Is that which one
Oh,
is
wow, I
coming
don't
around?
hate that.
I
I,
know,
really
yeah.
wanted to. I really wanted to immediately start ripping this apart. I'm like, I can't. This is nice.
Which
Like,
one is this?
I
That's
think
the
it's
Southern Blend. Yeah, and I'm gonna spritz a little on the on this index card so we can.
Okay, this is a bad time to reveal that I don't have much of a sense of smell.
All right.
I guess it smells good.
So yeah, then this is the original. So we're passing around the original.
That one actually has a sharper smell to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that one can cover like weed smoke and cigarette smoke.
Yeah, this is what you're.
So far, that's beating out the Southern Blend.
This is
Blend-
industrial strength.
Like the Southern Blend, like if I had to compare, it's like to the Abercrombie sense. Like that's like the one that everybody wears, and this is the one that you get when you're like a little older, but you're still
This one's
the more mature
a
McGraw.
little more mature.
So the Southern Blend is
smoother.
elite.
That's high school McGraw. This is like college. And grad,
yeah, this
grad student McGraw.
Yeah,
Grad student McGraw.
because I think the way in which I kind of read it is that they smell the same, but the Southern Blend is like diet McGraw.
Yeah, diet. Yeah, it's a little bit mellower.
It's a little more subtle, a little.
I like
a little
the
bit more
regular.
sandalwood.
I prefer.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of a sandalwood, a little bit more of a. I wouldn't say a leather, but I think it's very heavily sandalwood.
Yeah.
And this one is
It's something.
This one has more alcohol in it.
Yeah, that's a good way to. That's why I can smell it.
Which is funny because you'd think the Southern blend would be the more
be the one more
alcoholic.
alcohol.
I think
but no.
Southern. I think it's because
Must
the
be
Southern
Baptists.
blend
They're
leaves.
the Southern Baptist.
I was just about
blend.
to say Southern blend leaves room for Jesus. Like that's what it.
Yeah, and it's funny because like a lot of people, when it comes to people talking about podcasts, they're like, "Oh, it's people talking about movies, but it's an audio medium." Fuck you! You come to the Goods from the Woods. We're talking about smells, so it's even more inconceivable.
Olfactory podcast.
This is some
Studcast,
John Waters.
Sorry.
This should be in Smell-O-Vision.
John Waters Smell-O-Vision inspired. I love that.
Well, it
They
can't.
make movies that you can smell now. Did you know that? A friend of mine saw Pink Panther and said you could smell all kinds of shit in it.
all the hamburgers, I'm not gonna. I was about to. I debated with my brain. It's like, should I go full in with the voice? It was like, ultimately, run away from that. Get away as fast. You don't need to be the 17,000th person on podcasts to do the Pink Panther voice.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the divine voice. So.
Oh no, I was thinking the Steve.
That's
Martin.
Pink Flamingos.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. I was just saying because of the John Waters
True.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Have you ever listened to Divine's disco songs?
Yes.
They're great. They're amazing.
I have not.
Divine, who was, the muse of John Waters, had a bunch of disco songs that were like really popular in Europe because that was like a thing with disco music where it was just, any like campy celebrity had disco songs. and the Divine ones are fantastic.
So this one is
they
called "You Think You're a Man."
Oh, okay. There we go. Oh yeah.
All right.
It sounds like Duran Duran.
Her name is Rio.
No, this is like this is like so this is 84. So this is like NRG, high NRG music.
Whoa.
Wow. I'm waiting for the singing.
I mean, it's disco. Yes.
It looks like Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, Divine.
Or those that time in which Gold Dust was cross dressing.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Gold Dust.
It sounds like what's his name? Adrian Street music.
Yeah, that's right. Wow,
Yes.
I love it.
I love Divine.
Divine is awesome.
That's outstanding. Oh my God. We'll put that up on our Twitter so you can
That's
see
great.
it. We're at the Goods Pod. My God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, Divine had a lot of disco songs, and this was from '84. So Divine went from I think '79 to like just well into the '80s.
This is even more incredible to watch without the sound.
Yeah. God, how did we get on that? Oh, I was going to say
because we were
Smell-O-Vision.
I was going to say we went from Tim McGraw to Divine.
Yeah.
That's
Really, I think
beautiful-
they're synonymous.
We cover all the
frankly.
bases.
We're all over the yard. No, actually, if
This is my yard.
Because you're the big dog.
yeah, that's right. No, if you do go and review
And I'm the big guy.
the big guy, if you do go
The
and
big guy.
if you do go and review the show on iTunes, whichever one Mr. Goodnight decides to take home with them, I'll keep the other one. And if you review the show on iTunes, I'm going to send you a sticker. I'm going to send you a button, and I'll give a little spritz of McGraw on there, so you can
spritz it on the sticker.
spritz it on the envelope.
Make it
Yeah.
a scratch and sniff
Yeah,
sticker.
so
I'll take the southern.
you
cut
taking the
with
southern
me.
blend?
Because this will smell better in the envelopes that people want to spritz.
Yeah,
Right.
that one will last across the.
I
the
might even
journey.
take Southern Blend way up north to Canada with me.
Oh,
yeah,
we
It'll
got
be
to.
Yukon Blend.
And it's only 1.5 ounces of liquid, so you can get that shit right on the
that.
plane.
on the plane. Yeah, you can spray it
Boom.
around the plane like you're Rick Martel.
I like that. I'll get me one of them a Woody Woodpecker bug zapper atomizer things. That'd be a hell of a plane. People will land. But damn, everybody on this plane smells like Tim McGraw. What the hell's going on up there?
Just gives you free license to go take a fiery dump in the back and then just walk out.
Yeah, you might need the regular McGraw because that's more like of an industrial. Like,
Yeah, the regular one will cut through that pungent odor.
Yeah, so if you had a McGraw store theoretically, right? If there was a store called McGraw, that would be the kind that they would spray so it would linger longer in the store.
They'd have it in the air vents.
Yeah, much
the-
like
That's
an
what I think about
Abercrombie and
this-
Fitch or something
That's what
like
I was
that.
thinking about the Southern Blend one. Like that one feels more welcoming.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
more universally welcoming.
Hospitality.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know they have, and I just found this out. Our good friends Paige Weldon and Emily Faye wrote an article for the Higgs Weldon where they went to the Americana, which is a big outdoor mall in Glendale near LA, and they answered a question I've always had, which is when you walk through this mall, it's a big open air thing. You're walking around the fountain. There's all these apartments above it, so you could just live at the fucking mall.
Who lives there?
I
asked
there?
myself that question.
They wrote an article. They
there.
actually went and checked out the apartments and like got real estate like guides and stuff and got a tour and everything. And apparently it is just people's mistresses. Like rich guys have their mistresses just live above the mall, and then they show up and do their thing. And then
if
leave.
you're a mistress, that sounds like the dream place to be because you're with the damn mall. I would imagine every teenage girl in America's goal would be to live in this place.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of like extremely wealthy.
Just blew my mind because I thought it was like rich old people that
it's rich old people's mistresses.
That are like, oh, we can't really drive far, so it makes sense to
it's
put
kept
your house.
It's kept men and kept women.
Yeah, so if you're kept, like that's perfect if you're kept because you're living right next to a Barney's.
Yeah.
So you could just be like,
and a cheesecake factory.
Yeah.
Like what more
But
could you want?
that's my speed of luxury. I guess.
You would think more people would want to live at the mall like that. You talk about all the tourists that come in just to shop. They could make a hotel and a mall underneath it. They get everybody in Australia staying at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the Mall of America.
Yeah,
Literally.
That's true.
Except unlike the Mall of America, the Americana does not have a train store.
Yeah, that's true.
The train.
Well, the Mall of America also had the first Nitro.
And it also had Hulk Hogan's Pasta Mania. So
yeah.
Oh wow.
But the reason I bring it up is one of the revelations, and I'll link this article on our Twitter because it's very fucking interesting and hilarious because Paige and Emily wrote it. But one of the things that they mention is that the Caruso brand, who is the people who built the Grove and the Americana, they basically make these like fake Italian outdoor malls all over California, and they're called the Caruso brand. They have an official scent that they pump in through the air ducts. So when you're at the Grove or you're at the Americana or at any of their things, you'll notice that there is this very specific sort of
casinos do that
musky perfume hanging in there. The name of their scent is Tobacco Linen.
That sounds good.
That sounds. Oh wow. Oh, bury me with that.
Well,
scent.
here's the thing.
Tobacco Linen sounds like the name of a Steve Earle song.
Well, no, to me, it's like at first, when you first hear it, Tobacco Linen sounds good. But then you think about, people you're friends with who smoke indoors and how disgusting all of their furniture smells. And you're like, actually, Tobacco Linen smells gross.
Tobacco Linen has little holes burned up in it.
That's true. Yeah. But or it's the epicenter of a house fire. Because someone fell asleep in bed.
It smells like smoke.
Yeah.
If I am going to a mall, I don't want no other scents other than Cinnabon and Annie Ann's.
Yeah. But now that I know
Sbarro.
I was say, unless you're Wetzel's Pretzels.
they got both. There's a what mall is it? I think it's Baldwin Hills, where they got an Annie Ann's on one end of the mall and a Wetzel's on the other.
Well,
and I'm sure they're beefing all the time.
Have y'all ever been to the El Cortez?
I don't know.
It's a casino in Las Vegas. It's the oldest one that's still operating.
Oh, okay.
The moment you walk in, you talk about a place with a smell. It smells like Lysol or something. You walk in, like overwhelmingly, it's
Lysol and recycled air.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I imagine because Vegas, it barely ever rains there, so when it does, everything floods. So I'm sure an old casino that's been there.
Pump air in to keep you awake too.
Yeah, they've pumped in fresh oxygen.
Yeah.
Into casinos.
But as soon as you get in, your nose gets that whiff, and I'm in El Cortez again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it hypes you up so you can spend hours on end playing Caveman Keno.
Exactly, making your money go extinct.
Yeah. Yeah, that smell was because I know what you're talking about. That Lysol smell also is in like a lot of like hotel rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember
no one's coming here, don't worry.
Right.
This will preserve the place.
Yeah.
I remember I want to say it's When You Were Engulfed in Flames. One of those David Sedaris books where he describes that smell as a burning mummy in a lemon grove.
Oh wow!
I would call that tobacco linen.
Yeah.
It's more burning linen.
Yeah.
Just get a dead Egyptian up in it.
But yeah, now that you know that, listeners, if you ever come to LA or if you live in LA, this smell is ubiquitous and you've never noticed it until someone made you aware that they have a smell. And now when I go to see movies, because I go to the Americana all the time to go see movies,
I'm gonna be on the lookout.
you go on that escalator and you're like,
Follow your nose.
hot
Yeah.
damn, there's that smell. And they sell it in like scented candles and stuff.
my
And
God.
yeah, so anyway, tobacco
Ooh, that
linen.
smell.
Ooh, that smell. Today we're cutting class. We're talking about school.
That's enough smelling.
That's enough smelling. We're talking
The
about
school bell rang. And it's time to play hooky.
Yeah.
I was not present to hear the school bell because I was long far away from the school by
Didn't
the time
even
it
bother to
went
show up that morning.
No.
First of all, where is school? For
Okay,
you?
so I went to 3 different high schools before I ended up dropping out. So first, I went to a performing arts high school
Okay.
in Manhattan. And then second, I went to a Catholic school on Staten Island. And then I got kicked out of there. And I went to regular public high school for a month.
I can't imagine more of the gamut of the high school
Wow,
experience.
high
Yeah.
school sampler.
I know.
It really is.
I got the best and worst of all
and
of it.
then the soft government run middle.
Yeah. And then,
Wow.
after getting kicked out of Catholic school, went to regular high school.
Wait, what
And
happened?
that's saying something. I went to Catholic high school, and when I went to Catholic high school, there was a lot of kids that did get kicked out of public school that went to Catholic school. So it was like a thing where it was like the refuge, like it was almost like the
It's
refuge.
like, well, we don't want to put them in military school, so
yeah,
let's
they
give
don't.
them
Yeah,
a lot
we're
of
not
religion
putting them
instead.
in Florida Air Academy. We're taking them to my school.
Well, I know they kicked. It wasn't that I wasn't a bad kid. I was like a raucous kid. Like I was definitely a whirlwind coming into that school.
Yeah.
I was that kid that I came in. I was just there for junior year, but all of my friends from that school were like, "Are you sure you weren't there freshman year? Like they like you were there the whole time." Like, no, I was there for a year.
That's a good way to be, though, I
And
think.
right before my senior year, I got my eyebrow pierced, and I would get a detention every single day for it because, like, it was a uniform.
Is that a
Violation
double
thing.
jeopardy thing?
You can't.
I
you can't-
wish.
They can only punish you once for getting it pierced, unless it's still pierced and they would punish you the next day.
That's exactly what it is.
As
I
long
would,
as you had the
like-
ring in, it
or I would
was,
put a Band-Aid over it, and they'd be like, detention.
as long
I'd
as
be
there
like,
was the
why?
hole.
Yeah, this is a no Nelly high school. You can't do the Band-Aid.
And so then on top of that, I was late to
Dumb.
school a couple of times in my senior year, blah, 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 blah. So in the first month of my senior year, I had accrued like almost 40 detentions. They were like, peace, bye, get out.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
And that was the Catholic school.
That was the
what,
Catholic
What
school.
happened with the?
Is this the West Point of Catholic schools? Because it seems like you just accrued demerits for little things, and eventually it catches up with you.
I mean, it was one of those. I mean, I would have uniform violations all the time for like a solid month. Like I was not wearing dress shoes. I was wearing like a pair of black slippers that sort of looked like dress shoes. But I was like, there's like 3,000 kids in this school. No one's gonna notice if I'm not wearing. And no one did for like a month until one day the principal was like, "Hey, come here.
Yeah. What are
What
those?
are you wearing?" Yeah, way before. What are those? He
Yeah.
was like, very drunkenly.
What are those?
House shoes.
House shoes. What happened to your regular shoes? They drowned.
What happened? What happened to at the performing arts school, or did you just move?
No. What happened with the performing arts school is
Because it seems like that'd be the place where you ended up, and the story has a happy ending.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no.
if
that's
you're
where
that
the
much of a whirlwind,
that's where the story begins,
Yeah.
and I just never. Once I figured out how easy it was to cut school,
yeah.
I never went to school. Like my whole sophomore year, like I.
You
just
mean the performing
never-
arts school's kind of lax?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was so easy.
Wow.
It was so, and it was like not. It was a newer school. Like it had only been open for maybe 15 years. So I bet now it's a lot harder to cut. But like we shared an educational complex, so there was just like empty hallways, empty stairwells, back doors all over the place. So I would
Porous, like a sponge.
I would go in the morning. I would get my attendance because you would get your attendance taken in every class, but only once a day would you get your attendance taken for the state. So I would go in the morning, stay till about 10:30, get my attendance taken for the state, and then just leave. Just walk out the back door, not a single security guard. I would just walk. And once I figured out how easy it was,
Yeah.
and especially around Manhattan, no cop is like, what are you not doing in school? No one's checking. You could. I was a freshman / sophomore, closeted gay kid, like in Manhattan, where I was like, I could just. The whole world is right here. Museums are free. Did anybody else know that? We could just go to things. We could just do these.
So you were
things.
getting that's funny that I like that you went to museums. It wasn't
swear,
like fuck you, I'm going to the arcade. It's
I
like
swear to God, I will sometimes.
You'd go to like
I would.
the Met.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do in Manhattan?
That's fair. I guess it is. Yeah, for free anyway. The museums are the only free thing to do there.
Well, I would also because back when I was in high school and I would have a performing arts high school ID. I would be able to get like to see Broadway shows for like $20. So I would like save up money from the week, and then I would go for a Wednesday matinee at 2:00.
I was going to say, do they have matinee ones?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, they do Wednesday matinees for all the blue hairs.
Oh.
And so it would just be me and a sea of senior citizens. And like
Well,
they're all
the ID
polite.
came in handy, even if you didn't like take it to class.
No, really, it really did. Like and it was just always shocking to me that no one else was taking advantage of the fact that we have art school IDs, and that is pretty much a pass to do so much in this city. And from being like so like, because elementary and middle school, I went to a private school, so it was like you had to be in school every day, all the time. It was like on lockdown, and it was a nightmare because no one liked me. So it was like,
right.
Now that I all of a sudden had all this freedom to be like, wait, I don't have to go to the, even though high school was fine. Like I had friends, I was not an outcast, especially in art school. Like it was fine. I just wanted to do other shit.
Right, yeah, you had other stuff to she wanted to
I had other
do.
shit to do.
Yeah.
I mean, truancy in Manhattan is a heck of a lot more enticing than truancy in Melbourne, Florida. You know, that's
I
like, yeah. I mean, there are like people. So my high school I wasn't a truant, but it was like really easy to get out of because there was so many escapes. Because my high school was like a series, like a grouping of buildings, and then a bunch of trailers in the back where we actually went to most of our classes. Like we went to most of our classes in these like. Did you have the portables?
Modules,
Yeah.
The
They call them
trailers.
portables, but they're actually like double wide trailers,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They were partitioned off, so you have two. And they were like so rickety, like kids would just like take their elbows, and just
Put 'em through the wall?
put them through the wall, and like stuff things in there. So it'd be like, what smell is? What did somebody?
I was.
What did Ronnie Baudelaire shove into the
Did
wall?
you ever get classes canceled in the portables because someone literally just took a gnarly dump and it smelled so bad?
No,
Like,
somebody.
oh,
No,
we
no,
have
no.
to move classes.
No,
We
that
have
happened
to-
one time because somebody like would take like a like food from the and just like stuff
Put it in the
like,
walls.
in the wall, so it would just be this rotting food. And there's one time where like it just hit that threshold where like I don't know, there was like chicken
egg salad.
yeah, there was like
Look at
chicken like decaying chicken cordon bleus in the wall.
The most you of all the foods in the world, like you went to the most disgusting food.
No, chicken cordon bleu is great, but like
No, but not when it's in the
rotting.
wall.
I remember one time,
2 week
like there
old
was
in a Florida classroom.
Yeah.
In a Florida room. Like we're not even talking like a classround in Buffalo where you can at least get
It can
cold.
get
freeze,
frozen
yeah.
chicken.
Yeah.
But it's like, there was one time somebody like popped the thing in there and they decided to be a prankster, and they like got like brown Play-Doh and just put it into like turd shapes and like put it into the wall and just made it a little bit visible to make it look like somebody like put dog poo in the wall. But
Strange
Yeah.
this.
But the thing was
Shit
that it was
doesn't smell
very
as bad.
porous, so if people wanted to cut class, they could, like
Yeah.
because there's a major road.
Real quick, I
Right.
was going to say about that the cordon bleu, like it had to have been accruing the smell. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like I feel like
Yeah, but there's a critical mass.
like I'm just picturing like you know how in Looney Tunes like the Pepe Le Pew smell would just be like a walking fingers
A pie, like
slowly
Like a vapor.
it's a miasma. Yeah, it's
Well, that was
a slow forming miasma.
Right? Melbourne High, home of the green stank. or
Yeah,
something.
no, the green wave. Yeah,
green
no,
wave.
it's so amazing that
It's my favorite Eli Roth movie.
Tulane University, their athletic teams is called the Green Wave, and it's like okay.
Yeah, whenever they name a school team after nautical dynamics, I know
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, yeah,
Fuck you, Crimson Tide.
It's
Got a
also in,
touch of
it's
the
also in
green wave.
Louisiana, so it's just like, oh yeah, there's all this industrial waste in like Lake Pontchartrain, so we'll just call it the Green Wave.
the
But,
green wave
like-
is all the PVC and
Yeah.
the fucking estuary.
They could have their mascot be that three-eyed fish from The Simpsons. or
Yeah,
something.
No, but there was there was a lot of ways in which people snuck out, and like the greatest degree of truancy would be like people going out to like behind the old nun, like the old convent, to like smoke cigarettes. That like everybody was kind of cool on it. But I don't know, but it was like
cigarettes behind a convent with my forensics teacher and my like that was fun.
Your forensics? They had forensics
for the 1 month I was.
Was this
there,
a performing arts?
That's forensics, like debate forensics.
No,
for real.
No, forensic science.
No,
So
like
kids that want to go to
solving
like John
murders?
Jay or something like that.
It was truly how to get away with murder
What?
for high schoolers. Like truly,
That's the worst thing to teach high
literally,
school.
the
I didn't have that shit when I was in
first
school.
fucking class was them teaching us like how to get away with shooting off a gun. Like the whole like there's a such thing as gunpowder residue.
but this
and
was
you
in-
got to know like if you wear a glove and like you get it like you could tell it was
Get rid of the
This was
GSR.
in Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
Well, everybody that lives in Staten Island is going to become either a cop or a fireman.
Or a mafia.
or the family business.
Yeah.
Right.
At the
right.
bakery. The bakery.
I love that. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, kids, gather around. Here's the thing: when you dump them in the Hudson River, you got to remember to put holes in the oil drum, or else they won't sink to the bottom.
It's practical knowledge, though, and you got to give them credit for that at school.
All right, so what you do is you go over to Fresh Kills, right, and then you find this gate, right? This gate, there's a crack in the chain link. And what you do?
It's behind the old juice center. I can say that. I took my SATs there.
But yeah, no, the
You got to make sure to puncture the stomach because it will inflate and bring the body back up to the surface.
But a lot of kids go to like
Gotta
John
weigh it
Jay
down.
and stuff like that. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it
Yeah.
prepares them for
I have multiple friends that ended up going to John Jay for like criminology, court reporting, all that kind of stuff.
and that was just a class in high school.
it was an elective in
Yeah,
senior year.
that's
Yeah,
what-
it was
yeah.
one of the elective sciences.
Oh, so we had psychology, and our teacher.
that was one. There was psychology, forensics,
Y'all went to
sociology.
psychology, forensics, all the regular
y'all
stuff.
went to good schools. All our like electives were like ceramics and like so everybody just made bongs or like
That's useful.
or like lifting weights. Those were the only.
I think it was a lot of like with some of the teachers. It was a lot of just like, hey, what's another thing that you like are like? What was your minor in college? And I feel like a lot of the like the English teacher. I think it was one of my English teachers throughout my junior senior year. Like was my forensics teacher and like. I know, like one of the.
So she just really loved In Cold Blood. Like she just really got into true crime. It was like
it was
also
you know,
this.
it's that other thing of like, oh, sometimes your history teacher is also the football coach. Like it's that kind of like what's the other thing you're good at?
Right,
So like there'd
right.
be these random
Or the other thing they
classes.
make you do if you're a male teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but we had a.
It's a fact.
from what
That's why I don't want to
remember,
teach in
they-
South Carolina.
They're gonna make you be the
They
football
make you
coach.
coach. I'm not doing that crap. Are you kidding?
But hey, man, you can get to go to school in a polo shirt and shorts all the time.
Yeah.
So you get that luxury.
That's true, but then
Yeah.
you gotta
You're
you
the
gotta
only one
spend-
that's allowed to have a goatee as a teacher, probably. If you're,
I gotta say, in retrospect, I have to say I much prefer the school uniform because like when I had full reign of choices, oh boy, like I made some mistakes in my like fashion mistakes in my freshman year of high school trying to figure out what my identity was, and we're talking about a gold crushed velvet velour jumpsuit.
That's awesome.
And this was Staten Island, you say?
No, this was Manhattan.
when you make fashion faux pas in freshman year in high school like that, the good thing is there's no Blackwell, there's no red carpet, there's no Joan Rivers out
Yes.
there to really like hold it against you.
Oh, true.
Our school uniforms were terrible because they were designed in like 1985.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're a tall guy going through puberty, not a flattering look to have big pleated like
Yeah, I was
khaki
gonna say,
pants that
the
are.
Catholic school. Our school colors are red and black, so those kind of look good on everybody. Like it's
Yeah.
very hard to not look good in a black sweater with like a white
Yeah, we had
dress shirt under it.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, we had like Kelly green and gold, which is not like they're kind of rough fashion wise. But
See,
I mean, but the thing was when I went to middle school, my mom would go to like Mervyn's and get me clothes, so I'd just be rocking like Garfield T-shirts and stuff. Which, you know, nowadays you would probably be like the most hype beast dude ever walking around like that. But in 1996, that was not fashionable, and,
Yeah.
and irony didn't exist yet, so you couldn't. You
and
know.
now you'd look like you were in Migos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I got so
I'd look
jealous.
like Little Yachty in
Yeah.
like Mervyn's Garfield, T-shirt.
Floor length nighty shirt.
Oh yeah, where my mom bought like this outfit ruled. It was a lot of colored denim, right?
Yes.
So it'd be like colored denim.
I'm in.
That was a little bit like relaxed fit.
All right, I'm out.
No, but it's just like that was the time. That was like you couldn't get anything.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And then like I remember distinctly it was a green. But it was like a light green baseball jersey.
I'm back in.
With Garfield on it, and it just said attitude across it.
Wow. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
What did Garfield have a backwards hat?
No,
and was crossing his arms.
That was
a
crossing
Looney
his arms,
Tunes.
but he was just standing there.
Thug Tweety sweatshirts. You remember those? Oh, wow. What a time.
all the
If you
Looney
go to
Tunes,
Florida,
man, they were
you'll
all
still
thugs.
see people. You'll still
go to the Jersey Shore,
If
you'll
you go to
still see that
Walmart, you'll
shit.
see tons of women wearing hip hop Tweety T-shirt to match their Tweety Bird.
Oh, yeah.
tattoos. If you're in the South, women Tweety Bird, men Taz.
Taz.
That's like,
You're either a Tweety or a Taz.
yeah, you're either a Tweety or a Taz.
Pick a bathroom.
Yeah.
I do
Wow,
the Yosemite
I never-
Sam thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way. It's true. I've
Yeah.
never really thought. I've never really seen like Sylvester.
Yeah.
Like, with
Yeah.
I was
a
a
biker
Sylvester.
jet,
Sylvester
you know?
really for the
Sylvester
weird
would have been
kids.
pretty sad as a biker.
I was
Let's
a
face that
Sylvester
fact.
Daffy kid, so I had to get I got kicked out
Let's
of my
hit
town.
the road.
We are health.
Born to live.
Born to be wild.
Born to live. Right to live.
If you can read this, the bitch fell off.
And Daffy's lying down the road. You're despicable.
My other car is an AR-15.
Hello, Canary Bird. This is a letter home. Well, you know, I want you to fly the whole world over and find how my baby been getting along.
Well, I had a self-imposed uniform of gigantic corduroy pants and unbuttoned Hawaiian shirts with a T-shirt underneath. So,
So this was Margaritaville High.
oh boy, yeah, it was University of Margaritaville actually. The weather is here. Wish you were beautiful. But
Tommy Bahama.
well, that's the sad part. They weren't even Tommy Bahama. They were like
Margaritaville
Faded
brand.
Glory and like Kmart brand. Yeah. So,
I rocked a lot of sports jerseys.
okay.
I wore like a starter jacket for way too long. I had a Notre Dame starter jacket that I wore for like way longer than when it was fashionable.
Was the one that had the belly zipper?
No, it has the pouch in the front where it's the Velcro.
Oh, it was a pouch.
So,
Okay.
like, yeah, it's not as timeless as the chalk line jacket. It's the one where it's like in the front you can keep like God knows what. You
Gotcha.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you smoked pot, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Florida, so it would be it'd be OxyContin and
Yeah, well, this was like,
weed.
I was living in Georgia, so it was probably just like, your
oh, so it was
can
Chaw.
can of Copenhagen right there.
It was a skull.
Yeah, you just
Better than Oxycontin, man. That's speaks well of Georgia.
But I know in my sophomore year of high school, I would wear all the time was like, it was every Thursday I would wear the T-shirt from the show that I had just seen cut school to see
Hell
like
yeah.
the next day. Like,
Oh, the Broadway show.
yeah, yeah. Like, you know, I would go and see, I don't know, like All Shook Up, the Elvis musical,
Yeah.
and then I would
Yeah.
fucking get the T-shirt and I'd wear it to school the next day, and I'd be like, ha, see,
The T-shirt
I'm not
like-
coming. I'm doing this shit
Yeah.
instead.
Friday.
Check
It's like
out-
every week you come in with a new nonsense T-shirt. What is
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on here?
just whiling out in my Seussical T-shirt.
Why
Menopause
are you wearing
the
a double
musical.
XL Chitty Chitty Bang Bang T-shirt?
They made a musical of that.
Oh yeah,
Who played the car?
Herbie.
Manny
Well, it's good to
Patinkin.
know he's doing
Yeah, it's
something
good to know he's
nowadays.
still getting work.
So James Earl Jones
Starring
actually.
starring Manny Patinkin as the car.
Oh, I would see that.
You think he would be a battleship instead of a car? He'd be the battleship Patinkin that way.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha.
Think it through.
Swish.
You sunk my submarine. Prepare to die.
What about you two? Were you like? Well, we've not gone to any of your school cutting.
So as far as school cutting goes, we had an official class where it was just allowed, and that was yearbook,
like a free period?
Yearbook staff. Because in yearbook staff you could sign out to sell ads, because we actually had to go out and legitimately had to sell ads to pay for the yearbook. So we would go to local businesses and be like, hey, I'm selling ads for this thing. And first of all, I'm not trying to brag, but I was the first person to sell an ad to the head shop, man. I went to David's Gallery, bro, and I was like, hey, man, you want to buy an ad? And they were like, yeah, dude. But we got it into the yearbook where it said, David's Gallery, posters, vinyl, blah, blah, blah. And then it just said glass. And I was like,
Ours
we got pipes in the yearbook, man.
Yeah, ours was called Mac Daddy's Underground. it was in a recently departed Tire King.
I think ours was Nightcap, and it was also a sex shop.
Oh,
yeah.
You didn't sell
Right
any
off the freeway.
You didn't sell any yearbook right off the freeway next to the Little Caesars.
Yeah. There was what was
right
the
next
one
to
in
the
Atlanta?
body dumping grounds, if we're gonna be honest. Like,
once
Have
again,
your forensics teacher take you give you the tour.
Yeah. Once again, you want to make sure you weigh down the body when you dump it.
once we were, we were just driving around with my friend, and like it was.
Pigs will eat anything.
Mr. Tutuola, may I please have an extension on this?
Your dad's from Staten Island, right?
Yeah,
Your
he
dad.
is.
So as he would probably know, like there are particularly ripe days on Staten Island, especially like in the '90s and early aughts when the dump was still kind of on and off.
Right.
And it was a particularly ripe day, and my friend, we commented on it. My friend's mom just goes, "Come on, you know how many bodies are in there?"
Oh
New
my
York
God.
City does smell bad, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It
Oh, in
is
the
a
summer
really
after a
bad
rain?
smell.
Piss and death.
Yeah. Well, people are always shitting on LA. They're like, it's so smoggy. I'm like, yeah, but when you look at the weather forecast for Staten Island, it'll just say like temperature 92, conditions, smell. Like,
LA don't always smell great either.
yeah,
But,
well,
New York is
if you just
worse.
avoid Hollywood Boulevard and
Yeah,
most
I
of
was gonna
downtown.
say,
Well, anywhere where there's a dumpster with the heat that we get.
Yeah, that's fair.
And a dumpster left out in the sun, it could be March and it'll stink.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about stuff that stinks like wee-wee. We talk about places that smell like chicken cacciatore stuffed in the walls. And we compared la fragrances. This is the smell episode.
Episode 190, Smells with Joe K.
Episode 190. This episode
smells.
stinks. Or smells, if you will.
But what happened we sold ads with the yearbook staff, and first of all, I sold the most. Not trying to brag.
Wow.
But,
Yeah, of course you did.
But Jostin, well, no, there was a financial incentive. The guy who Jostin's owned the company, and Jostin's comes in and they go, whoever sells the most ads for this school, we're gonna give you $100 cash. And he held up $100, and so Rachel Thompson and Lizzie Evans teamed up to try to take me down, and I fucking sold more ads than both of them. And yeah, they're both happily married and they have families and they're doing great. But fuck you, I still sold more ads in 2004.
Oh, and I bet you were obnoxious.
Oh my God, dude! When I got that $100, I literally was like dancing. I was an asshole.
Like such an only child move.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, Jostins that sold they also sold the yearbooks. They sold the regalia. They sold the class rings and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
The ones,
that's why I know
Jostins,
that.
yeah, I got my
Yeah.
class ring from them. Yeah.
but we had the Jostins people, and then we also had. I don't know what the company is that runs Reader's Digest, but they basically they're like a company.
I love Reader's
Sunny
Digest.
Acres Retirement
Yeah,
Community Publishing.
Reader's Digest has good malt with a bear
Word
stories.
Power Incorporated.
Monarch Estates.
No, so there's a company that's responsible for like magazine subscriptions. So it's not the publishers, but they're a syndicate that runs magazine subscriptions. I guess they're like Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah.
Like, they're the step above Publishers Clearinghouse. And so they had this thing.
So
at
they
my
get Johnny
school.
Carson instead of Ed McMahon.
So they used to every year we'd have a magazine sale, and they'd always have this woman that came in that had literally the most southern accent you've ever heard in your entire life. She'd just be like, "Hey y'all, it's time for the magazine sale again. Hi, I'm Kaye." And her thing was, and I always remember this, was the magic number is 10. You gotta sell 10 magazine subscriptions and you would get like something, right?
Yeah.
But I remember one time there was one where it was like, all right, we added something in. Usually the magic number is what? 10.
10.
That's right. But this year,
They've somehow turned that into a 2-syllable word.
yeah, 10. It's like
10.
rice,
Rice.
But if you sell 3, you get to miss class because we will be having, for everybody that sells 3 subscriptions, a concert in the gym with a fast rising boy band called Triple Deep.
Oh, yeah.
My
Triple Deep.
God.
Triple Deep.
Are they on
These
here?
are low standards of sale, by the way.
I was just like, honestly though, I gotta admit, I thought the stakes were gonna be even lower. I thought you were about to say, I thought
boy.
he was about to say, you sell 3 and you're gonna get to
No,
go to the
that's Triple
gymnasium
Deep.
and have
Hot
a
Rod-
pizza
oh,
party. Oh my God! Whoa!
This is Triple Deep at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Ups and downs is stuff, and not just having to hand it to us is what it's been worth it.
Oh my God!
Wow.
These guys are just like,
These guys got outside of Florida?
no. This is like bargain basement PSP.
Wow! They're looking at each other. They're like, "Are we getting the moves right?"
Yeah.
Wow.
So imagine these guys performing in a high school gym.
Oh, that's easy to imagine.
Yeah, with
It looks like they're talent
with
caliber.
like 150 kids.
Oh my God!
Oh, are they rapping?
Oh, that's the bad boy.
Ooh, has them bars.
lip-syncing?
Ooh, he's got bars.
That's the bad boy. They have one guy with the drawn-on goatee.
He looks 50.
He does.
He looks old as
Yeah,
hell.
he's-
Yeah, they're really
He's
stretching the definition of boy here.
These are like Donnie Wahlberg, Nick Carter.
Nick Carter beat Shaq, you know.
Yeah. No, that's Aaron Carter. Nick Carter was.
They've got that
No,
Kris
Eric
Jenner
Carter's
hair
that fellow
going
we
on.
know.
Look at this.
Oh, Aaron.
Their hair though, like they were they were above the curve over here. Like one of them's got Kris Jenner hair, one of them's got Kate Gosselin hair. Wow.
They spent all their time on their hair and nothing up on their synchronized
By the way,
dancing.
this is what I used to dress like. This guy right here.
With some
With the-
dragon
the
shirts.
dragon shirts.
Gee, those at PacSun.
You should have went to Pat's high school, Rivers.
Yeah, I
you could have
know.
been an entertainer there.
Oh wow.
Wow, this
yeah.
is.
So,
Well, this goes on a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's way too long.
Deep.
Triple D.
We'll put this on our Twitter.
yeah.
We're at the Good Spot, so you can see
These
this.
guys, yeah, it was one of those things where they were just like, y'all get to say triple miss class. So this is an excused absence from whatever class you had.
Well,
at
it's
sixth
educational.
period. And you got to
music
see,
what
class.
not to do.
Yeah,
when
don't
you see,
don't.
you got to see
Hey
triple
kids,
deep.
if you ever meet a man named Lou Pearlman
At the mall.
you stay far away,
but
or
yeah,
you'll end up like Triple D.
just so by
If a fat man with glasses tells you to get in his van,
just to give you an idea of how much staying power Triple Deep has. This is part of what appears to be a 4-part concert at Hard Rock Live. The first installment, this was part of the second installment. The first installment, 1.2 thousand views. The second one, 1.2 thousand views. The third part one, 350, and then the fourth part, the finale, only gets 2.
Well, I'm not surprised because they're out of gas by midway through the first song.
yeah,
Triple Deep, dude.
12.
That's
There's
kind of
4
a
of them.
suggestive name, man. Triple Deep is an odd name with 4 guys, so maybe one guy ain't as big as others or something. But that's a suggestive name.
Or they just added somebody last minute. Like I think.
Or maybe they're like the 3 Musketeers and they have D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan,
and
yeah.
he ain't necessarily one of the 3 Musketeers.
There we go. That's true. Yeah, I think it's the guy who's 50. They added him as a favor.
I bet it's like Dave, Dan, Dom, and then like Mitch.
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
bet it,
Good idea.
Mitch!
Yeah. That makes sense.
The one time that I unknowingly skipped school. So we would have unknowingly skipped school. So I
thought it was President's Day.
no. So when we had finals, right? We would do. We would have to
Okay.
go for basically the full day, and there was like one finals period 2, and finals period 3, and not everybody.
Which is an
would-
oxymoron when you think finals 2, finals 3.
Yeah, but it was like, so there wouldn't be, sometimes you would have a final in the first period and the third period, right? On the second period, you had to stay like on campus, right? And I was always like, if I had to, like when I'd leave class, I was always it would always be a soft leaving class where like occasionally I would like leave class and just,
Bye.
go to the bathroom and take the scenic route,
All the time.
all the time. Like I would go out and I'd walk
That
over.
actually might be my first experience with like skipping class. Was like 8th grade, where I would take extended trips to the bathroom and just chill with my best friend, the secretary, and we would just chat for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Be like,
occasionally
you gotta go.
Yeah, I would like. So I used to coach. So there was like so I coached Special Olympics in high school, and like the some of the Special Olympics guys did grounds crew work over at the building across the street. So sometimes I go across the street and talk to my athletes.
Yeah.
Which was always
that's
always
fun.
a good time. Yeah,
And they never
'cause
said
they
you,
were-
why come you ain't in school?
They would ask. I'm like, I'm taking a break.
Breaking the law, breaking the
But
law.
there was one time I was just like, let's forget the second period rule. We're going to the pool hall, and we went to Hardee's.
We went to the juke joint, man. We got
went to-
loaded on gin.
Yeah, we went to Hardee's, and
We sang doo-wop songs and had knife fights in the
and
alley.
then we went to the pool hall.
Hardee's?
And it was like
the
a
pool
really
hall.
a really terrible pool hall where like all the
As opposed to the upscale one.
Right.
well, no, I mean the pool hall was just like
The ones that don't allow Jews in.
they didn't have like slate tables or even like it was like plywood. So it was like all the tables were bowed, and the bathroom was like a closet with like I think they converted a sink into a toilet.
Hey, you can just piss in that mop sink. It's cleaner.
People would go there to buy meth, and like so we went there. It wasn't
Okay, so it's
open
not one of
yet.
the ones where they sell fried chicken. They sell meth at it.
No, that's the other kind of chicken.
And when I was
High-speed chicken feed, daddy.
so we were just standing there eating our Hardee's in front of the crappy pool hall, and I got a call from one of my friends. They're like, dude, they're like looking for you because apparently unbeknownst to me, they take roll in the cafeteria, and they're like they've made 5 announcements.
It's like a
on the
POW escape.
That's how like this is how like kind of draconian my school was about like certain rules.
You weren't there for a Pell. You're in trouble.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there to sit around in the cafeteria to wait for my next. Yeah, so it was a minor scandal, and it's just like, dude, I was just going to Golden Q. I wasn't even going there to buy meth like most
Golden
people. Because,
I wasn't there to buy meth. I was just there to play 8-ball.
yeah, I was there to play 8 balls and eat my Hardee's. I had a Frisco melt, dude. That I had.
I found out they
Living large.
I had to sip on.
I found out they called meth chicken, by the way, at Bonnaroo the first year I went because drug dealers
Because you ordered some chicken, you were like, damn, how did they get the chicken up in these little pills?
for real. No, the drug dealers at Bonnaroo, they'll walk by you and they'll just announce what they're selling. So as you're walking down like Shakedown Street, right? A guy walks by and he goes, "Nugs, fat nugs," and then he keeps walking. And if you want weed, you stop him like, "Hey man,
Yeah,
can
yeah,
I get some
'cause
weed?"
they could- the nugs, like that's pretty see through.
The guy will go doses if he's got LSD, shit like that. And I knew most of the codes, but then some guy goes, "I got chicken too," or something, and I was like, and I
What?
at being the hungry fat child, I was like, ooh, I was like, what are you? And then I realized like I looked and he didn't have teeth, and I was like, oh, that probably means something else.
That must be some
So in
hard
case you
chicken
wanna
bones.
engage-
Really, he's
in
just
case you want to engage in some risky sexual behavior at Bonnaroo,
I didn't know they sold that too. Wow.
oh yeah, they had a.
you have the chicken to fuel it, I guess.
Everything's on sale at Bonnaroo.
Oh, I think I told this in the music festivals episode, but they had a plywood strip club that somebody built at Bonnaroo in the middle
Who
of.
would want to watch Plywood Strip?
No. Who would want to watch just someone who'd been, at a festival for 4 days? It just everybody's gross. Everything is gross, But yeah, no, they had these giant 4 plywood walls, and then like a big fat guy standing there guarding the door, and then presumably,
Was that an extra fee?
I'm gonna guess folding chairs. Yeah, I'm gonna guess folding chairs and like
that's
dirty hippie chicks inside dancing.
Apparently, that's a staple of NASCAR infields.
It's plywood strip club.
It's like Ersatz strip club.
I did not know that because I've only been. I always get pit passes, so being borderline professional. So I never
I'm in
been
it for
with
the
hoi
sport.
polloi.
God damn it!
Seriously,
all these interlopers are just here for the pussy, and they're not concentrating on the racing.
when it comes to motorsports,
It's a
man.
disgrace to motorsports.
I'm on the inside. I don't go with the hoi polloi. Although now that I know that they have these things, these strip clubs, I think I want to go to it.
like Daytona is like the infield at Daytona is like Mardi Gras for guys that have $1 million RVs. Like that's like kind of the whole vibe there. Like parrot heads and yeah.
It's too hot though. I'd imagine, unless they have a little air conditioner in this shack, it gets so hot at them race courses.
Well, they probably buy up the
exhaust. Jesus.
yeah.
Well, and just the heat just
Yeah.
baking off that asphalt.
Although
like
I
that.
bet you could buy the old collapsible trailers from old high schools and drag it to the infield, and if you don't mind the cordon bleu smell, it's.
Oh, now my goal in life is to buy the modules from the Catholic high school and turn it into a strip club. Now, I just need to do.
You could call it Stinkies.
My cousin Bunky, yes, his name is Bunky. He did buy one of those things, and he turned it into his like hunting lodge / fishing cabin. He dropped it next to the river near Wetumpka, Alabama.
Well, you best watch his scent trail because that thing stinks.
Yeah. So yeah, they do sell those for cheap. You can get a portable.
Yeah,
you just have
go
to
over
mind
like
the
some sort of government, surplus auction.
yeah. You can buy that in a stolen Maybach or something.
I want to go to one of those police seizure auctions.
Oh God, me too.
Yeah.
Three. Remember the time Fred Flintstone went to one and got that car with all the diamonds hidden up in it?
No, but I need to watch that episode. What?
Yeah, he went to police auction. And you remember how Flintstone cars would have that big steamroller wheel?
Yeah.
He bought one that these gangsters hid diamonds and shit in that wheel.
Wow.
I don't remember how it ended, but I think he got out alive because there are more episodes of the Flintstones after that. But.
There's not a whole run with Wilma mourning the loss of Fred.
That was a depressing show.
Just
raising
sat
pebbles
alone
on her
washing
own.
dishes, just staring at pebbles.
Wondering, do I have to marry Joe Rockhead now so Pebbles can grow up?
Fred
with somebody?
Flintstone's in witness protection.
Yeah, he was.
He
Maybe they
testified
changed my
in
name to George Jetson and moved me somewhere really different, Barn.
he had to testify in a prehistoric RICO Act case.
Yeah, I had to get away from.
Bonnie, I'm the one who knocks.
This goes in Breaks Bad somewhere out in Bedrock.
Oh man, we should make that. That sounds like a little loved Funny or Die sketch.
That really does. That sounds really fun, actually. Yeah. Hey, Fred, we gotta cook.
Barney, my meth. Hey, Freddy, you said you deal in rucks and things like
Bonnie,
that.
we put acid in the tub. He's leaking through the ceiling, Bon. I'm cooking the crack with the Uzi.
No, I don't know what it means.
I just buy this car at this police auction, and now I live in prehistoric Iowa. And my name is Roland, and I sell prehistoric life insurance.
Now I'm a nobody, a total schnook.
They're selling it.
That prehistoric life insurance don't cover you after the Cretaceous mass extinction.
Yeah. Or if a prehistoric Bugsy Siegel kills you.
Yeah, and it also doesn't cover giant meteorites landing in Mexico, I think. So what good is it?
Don't you get it? Los Raptos Hermanos is a front.
I needed to get that out. Like, that was dying. That was rotting inside of me, and I needed.
It was rotten like a giant dead dinosaur.
Or a cordon bleu sandwich in the wall.
Bless Lunchman Larry, but man, some of those chicken cordon blues were not cooked all the way through.
No, that is a very difficult dish to execute even at a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh man, Lunchman Larry was awesome. He was like a former Navy guy, and he was like,
Here's your slop.
no, I mean he was like, so
There's
this was
very
like,
Little meat in these gym mats.
so there's like so this was like late 2000s, early aughts, and he was like probably 70, 75.
Yeah.
And he was like, he had like the kind of Navy tattoos from like the 50s. So it was just like a blob. It looked like a Rorschach
Green.
test
Yeah.
on his arm. And he was.
What do you think it means?
Yeah, I know.
It used to be a hula goyle. Now it's your subconscious.
But he was awesome. But there was one time.
I used to make a dance.
I gotta say, pronouncing girl Goyle is one of my favorite things in the whole world. Or Woiled, if you will.
But I remember one time. Lunchman. So there was this guy that I went to school with named Carter, and Carter was like the smallest guy on the football team.
Yeah,
He's not
And
Aaron
also-
Carter.
And also he was the only one on the high school football team that actually played Division I ball. So like he was
Really?
good. Yeah. I
Aaron's
mean, being
party.
like it meant like he ended up in the long run being the most accomplished football player at the school, right?
Come get it.
Yeah. Carter was awesome, but like there was one time he was being bullied by the bigger football players. Like these big,
How many sizes did they come in at this school?
So Carter was about 5 foot. He didn't have his growth spurt until he went to college.
Okay.
So he was about 5'7" and maybe he was like Joe size, actually. I would say he was about Joe size. And all these like giant football players were like razzing him, like just like kind of
really
bullying
taking
him.
me back here.
And Lunchman Larry busts
You're
out.
triggering Joe, Pat.
Yeah, so Lunchman Larry busts out with like a spatula from behind the counter, and he's like, "You want to mess with somebody? Mess with me.
Oh, God.
I'll fuck you up."
I'll whip my gray ponytail in your fucking face.
No, he had like the kind of like really nice brill creamed hair.
Oh,
He smelled
okay.
Like,
I'm just picturing Lieutenant Dan mid movie.
no, he looked like
You call that a meatloaf?
No, he looked like a mixture of like go back to go to smells. He smelled like a mixture of cafeteria food and the spray on brute like detergent.
See,
Not-
now
like
I'm
deodorant.
thinking-
I'm a Mitchum man, god
but
damn it.
He came out and he like these three guys who were all like roided up. He like walked up to him and he just had this spatula and he just was ready to throw down with Carter like that. I'm imagining both of them just like kicking some ass.
Do you know the Elvis story? Where Elvis was some big guys were going to cut Elvis's hair, and one of the football players, Red West, who became one of the
Yeah.
Memphis Mafia guys, it was like the same thing.
Yeah.
Came out and said, "All right, you got to cut mine first," and then they
but
backed
this is
off.
like a 70-year-old like.
Was that in All Shook
sea
Up?
Salt. Yeah.
Was that in the musical?
it should
not.
be now.
Hey man, lay off my hair.
You should write to them, and we could have the living legend Lunchman Larry.
Yeah.
Play
Lunchman
Red
Larry-
West.
Lunchman Larry's probably not with us anymore. But
I was
Lunchman
gonna say,
Larry-
he'd be good to have
I
on the
just
show.
imagine him just like taking on the entire like defensive line of our crappy football team with like just a spatula. Just
Maybe
like,
they
hold
got
on,
him-
kid, I'm gonna mess these little bastards up. You know?
Maybe they called him back to Afghanistan or something, and they sent him there with just a spatula.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's going after football players, but all of their like just heads are
Yeah,
turning into Vietnamese villagers.
Lunchman Larry is SEAL Team 6.
Could be. If there were spatula wounds on Bin Laden, it could have been him.
Yeah.
We'll never know. We buried him at sea. We'll have no idea.
Lunchman Larry ruled.
So in Manhattan, when you skipped class, you went to Broadway.
I did a lot. I can't believe. I was just gonna say, of all of the excellent theater that I saw, I can't believe the one thing that I pulled out was like this really shitty Elvis musical. That was like, it was basically them trying to do like another Bye Bye Birdie. Like,
Oh, okay.
It was essentially just that,
but
So-
with Elvis,
yeah,
music.
yeah.
You know, I have to say though, that is like the most. I don't want to. I don't mean this person, but like snobby thing you can ever say. I used to skip class and I went to Broadway.
Yeah, with cheapo $20 tickets.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like it seems like this really elitist thing to have done, but it's like it was never really that expensive.
It's
if you
high
knew how
scale
to
class
work.
cutting.
Yeah.
If you knew how to work if you knew the ins and outs of everything,
the
it's like,
angles,
you figure out that certain places have
Yeah.
lunch, like nicer restaurants have lunch specials.
Right. Well, it's
Yeah.
just a byproduct of like being in Manhattan,
Yeah.
like because I'm in Alabama, so the cheap thing for me to do was to drive in mud.
Yeah, but you know that's fun too, man.
Broadway for people who live in New York is the equivalent of driving
I mean, the
in
people
mud.
that skipped school at my school were like, yeah, we're just going to go to the Hess station across the street and eat Godfather's pizza and smoke shake. Like,
I also
that was,
did
yeah,
like a lot of. I also would go to the movies a whole bunch.
Yeah,
like,
that's a
Yeah.
great one.
because that I mean, theater and movies were a great way to, especially like in those early days, if you were nervous about being
Get small.
caught, like you could just go and just be in a dark theater.
Movies are
No
the
one-
traditional like truancy place to hide.
That was my the one time a giant group of us all cut together like last minute. It was Halloween our senior year.
Risky business.
And we well the thing is they didn't warn us the night before that, oh, by the way, tomorrow we're gonna have the metal detectors in school, so like leave your phones at home, all of that stuff, because they were doing bags, so they were confiscating everything. So
Oh,
we get to
shit.
school and we see like this giant line like wrapping around the school. We're like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, they put the metal detectors up today. We're like, oh, we're not going to school, because it's like, oh, because when they do that, they'll take everything, your lighters, your phones, your cigarette, like literally they'll
Oh,
take everything
wow.
that's not a book out of your bag, when all they're really looking for is a gun.
Yeah.
a
But-
knife or something.
yeah, but it's like, oh, why do you have to take my fucking cigarettes, man? Like, I'm 18. Like, what are you doing? I can have these.
Yeah.
So we all just like turned around and as a group got back on the Staten Island Railroad and we went to the theater that didn't ID and we all went to go see, I think it was the 4th Saw movie.
Oh,
it was like a
all
group
right.
of 7 or 8 of us. And we were just like, yeah, this was
That's
the best
a
day.
Halloween well spent.
Yeah, it was fun. It was that was probably every other time I would ever cut was mostly by myself. Like it was very rare that I would cut with other people.
Do it as a group.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah, I only ever did it in that class when it was legal. I was such a fucking dickhead showboat, I guess, if I could really sum my personality back then into 2 words. I was, if nothing else, a goody deep down. So I was like, well, I'm going to stay in fucking school. But when I was given the opportunity, like just the easy out, I would just go, because I had the free time. And yeah, we went to Mama Goldberg's Deli, and the old lady that works there would occasionally sell us pitchers of beer, which was nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
That's not bad. I mean, it's a toss up that at Broadway.
yeah. Well, it's, I mean, again, we're talking about just, on a relative scale, the things there are to do around you. So, Manhattan,
any time that you're breaking the law and having fun is a good time. Time well spent.
So yeah, Joe had Broadway. I had Mama Goldberg's Deli. Shout out to Mama G's.
How many
good.
random afternoons would I just spend in like the Museum of Natural History? Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot, like a
Oh,
lot.
I love that place. They get that huge
lot.
blue whale.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that all of like the marine biology wing.
And they
of
got
that.
the
I
part
love
with
it.
the what is it? The squid fighting
the squid and
whale.
squid and the whale. Yeah.
They made that movie about it.
Yes, they did. Where somebody jerked off in a library, if I remember correctly.
One time I think I missed something.
Fucks Jeff Goldblum, not Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Daniels, and that's weird because she played his daughter in Fly Away Home.
Okay, time out for a second. This was a movie about a whale?
There was a movie called The Squid and the Whale about that exhibit, but it's a Noah Baumbach. It's like the one movie he made that I like.
My school, like the academic and intellectual rigor of my school, on a scale from 1 to 10, was about a 2. So like every class was like kind of a party. Like, I mean, you were kind of a little. Once you were in class, it was like, okay, we outnumber the teacher. So if they want to play ball, awesome.
Yeah.
If not, we'll have a mutiny, and this is just going to be like us just going nuts and being rowdy and rambunctious.
I remember a math class I had in high school was very like that, where we were very many against one, and
Oh man, if
in
that's
every other class, like we were fairly good. Like it was never ever a party because at least in the performing arts school, most of our teachers were like pretty cool in some respect. So you would have a little, and there were also, most of them were in their mid to late 20s tops.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they were adults, but they were like soft adults
That can
we
go
could,
either
like, get
way,
along
though.
with. But like, because they could jive with us in that way of like, our English teacher was much more like, we're going to read a lot more plays and we're going to read a lot more of this. So we like found that way to connect with all of us.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
That can really go either way because I had, I had 2 English, like my 2 favorite just teachers hard stop that I've ever had were my English teacher in junior year and my English teacher senior year, Mr. Jones, Mr. Thompson. Both of them would have been my age now, so like early 30s.
Yeah.
And they commanded such respect because they were so fucking cool that you wanted to like
You wanted to impress
you wanted
that
to
was a
be on their
dynamic of
level.
that.
Was he
That
like
was
they
exactly
like
what
that?
it was. You wanted to impress them. You
Yeah.
wanted to be like, you're so cool. I want to be as cool as you by
Right.
having that knowledge.
But
They like that Dean on The Simpsons that time. That was, remember, I used to play bass for the Pretenders and all that shit. Hello, Dean. You're a stupid head. Homer, is that you? I'm gonna get that stuffed shirt.
I did not. With 190
Now you can see how long it's
episodes,
been. Well, this is how long it's been since I watched
That's
it.
the first time I've heard you do Homer, and it's incredibly
really
good.
No, that's true. I have a lot of ones like that just have to leave in the pocket because nobody knows about it. But there's lots of episodes of Simpsons, is all I'm going to say. So if you hear me referencing it, it was definitely from the first 6 or so years because
Okay.
those are the only ones
We-
I've seen.
Yeah.
So the reason why it was also a party was that we had the teachers that we wanted to impress that were like really good, solid, like this person is actually like a solid teacher, right? That they know how to do their work, they know how to do their job. I took a lot of AP classes, and the teachers were just like, let's have fun. All right, whatever, And then everybody got like a 2 on the AP test.
should know that you are. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but you are wearing a T-shirt depicting children's literature. You didn't need to tell me you took AP classes.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't.
Pat's
need to
wearing
tell
a
me that.
theater of the mind. Pat's wearing a corduroy the bear T-shirt at the moment.
Yeah.
But those two,
I left my Berenstain Bears T-shirt at home.
we had those.
And I was like royalty and stuff, so I could,
Yeah, you were the homecoming kid.
yeah, so I could rule.
you really?
Yeah.
Pat ran the school.
Yeah.
And I wasn't an ironic.
Very powerful high school.
Yeah, very, very powerful high school figure.
I was voted most unforgettable.
Nice.
Yeah,
I love those
dude.
backhanded compliment superlatives.
Yeah, it really was. I was like, oh yeah, because I'm a showboat dickhead. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's why. But
yeah, and that's even cattier than most unique or something like that.
yeah,
you know?
no, most unique was like the girl with purple hair no one talked to.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the most
No, it
unique.
would be like coolest hair.
Yeah, that would be cool as hair. And then the most unique would be like the girl that's really into Kate Bush, and then the guy
Wow.
and the guy
the time traveler from 1993.
and then the guy that's like really into the punk kid, the punk guy.
There was a kid in one of my classes. God, I hated him so much. His MySpace name was Rob Caffeine. By the way, had a hard episode in his early 20s because of how much fucking coffee this kid drank, whatever it was. And his whole caveat about listening to music was, well, I don't listen to bands once they get a MySpace. I fucking hate you.
Whoa.
I hated that kid so much.
Oh, so he didn't listen to
Pretentious asshole.
Yeah, he didn't listen to
probably
Little Day
dead
Day.
now.
Probably.
And that killer heart attack at age 22.
Little Day Day.
Little Day Day or Rich Boy.
No, there was this kid. There was this kid. Oh my god! So there was this thing that we had circulated around where there was a MySpace for this kid who was like 12 years old. Or 13 years old. I don't know what age he was. He looked like he was 12 or 13. And his name was Little Day Day. And it was like back when there was the tall tees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest. Like, he would just, the worst rhymes ever.
Sounds like an Andy Milonakis sketch.
Yeah. And it's just like him like yelling at like girls like girls he dated. He was just like,
A little bit of Erica by my side.
he's like, fuck you, Aaliyah. I fucking hate you. And then he would just like have this horrible rap with some like beat that he found off of some like that like
wouldn't want to be a...
it's like some like
That's all I got.
some preset on Fruity Loops or something like that.
Mr. Jones, put a wiggle in your stride, loosen up. I believe he'll be all right. He's changing clothes. Now he's got ventilated slats bouncing off the walls. Mr. Jones is back.
Did you go to school on Staten Island
Yeah,
ever?
Moore Catholic High School was on Staten Island.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That was a lot harder to cut. If you were caught, like it's like 4 or 5 days of detention, something like that.
So how
I
did
caught
you-
like twice in the first month. I had indefinite detention.
Limbo, as they call it in Catholicism.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The only
That's
other
called
time,
double secret detention.
the only other time I really caught in that junior year was on 420 because I got so high.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had to leave.
You just had to
leave.
steer it up.
It was the mistake of oh god, yeah, no one in my family is ever gonna listen to this. No one's gonna find it.
We'll put a
I made the
disclaimer.
mistake of snorting a little Adderall right before my 6th period class.
Okay.
And
What better way to celebrate 420? The most mellow of holidays.
after smoking like 2 giant blunts in the morning on the way to school. I, by the way, was not that big of a pot smoker
Wow.
in high school. Like, so this
They call
was,
that
like,
a William and Mary
huge-
speedball.
Yeah.
Adderall and weed.
So I needed to. I did a little Adderall
Nice.
to get me through there because I was starting to get real tired, and I got so fucking jittery that after 6th period I was like, I just gotta leave. I gotta leave. And I wasn't even thinking about how am I gonna sneak out of school. Or I was like, I'm just walking away. Like I'm just literally getting out of class, getting your shit, and just walking off campus.
I'm going to
Bye.
clean everybody's room.
And I just
Mine,
left.
yours,
And
everyone I know.
A
Now.
teacher had seen me like maybe 4 or 5 blocks away from the school. She's driving past, I guess to go get lunch or whatever, rolls down her window. She goes, "What are you doing?" And I ran into the woods. I'm not. I ripped my sweater off and ran into the woods. The next morning, so it was my homeroom teacher was the one that saw me. And
Oh, God.
She pulls me aside. She's like, "Here, come talk to me for a second." And I was like, "Oh boy, here we go. I'm dead now." She goes, "I know what was up yesterday. I know what you were doing, and I know it was you." just don't do it again. Like, come on. Like,
You're
we all
like,
know,
you know about the Adderall?
almost in that way of like, I know what yesterday was. I know multiple kids were cutting. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna let this one slide. But like, oh come on, how stupid can you be? Like that whole like you were just walking away from the campus full uniform. Like, what? I wasn't even trying to hide that I was cutting school. It was only like 12 noon, so like, it wasn't even like, maybe he's out early.
Oh,
or
it was some other
whatever.
kid who ran into the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just imagine walking off of campus like defiantly while Bittersweet Symphony plays in the background.
I know it was you with your very distinct knockoff Louis Vuitton messenger bag. Like, it's very clearly you.
Look, when I see a kid with his fist raised in the air and don't you forget about me playing, I know it's you. You're the cool kid leaving school.
I'm the cool kid leaving school.
Joe, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
Okay, yeah. You can find me on...
That's the name.
Yeah.
Joe Kaye.
Joe Kaye on everything that's all, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit. Follow me there. And
Kaye.
Kaye, as spelled in the thing. Or, I'm sorry, it's Joe Charles K. There we go. Joe
okay.
Charles K. I forgot. Joe K was already taken. Had to get the middle name in there
okay.
to avoid having to use numbers.
Gotcha.
Kaye is like Danny Kaye, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
The first person to actually to pull that one out.
Well, thank you. Well, because always a man of class.
Usually
like me
how I
does
have
it.
to, I'm like, yeah, Kaye, like Danny Kaye. And they're like, who am I? Oh, we can't be friends. But yeah, there's that. And then I also, if you're in Los Angeles, I host a weekly comedy show.
Yes.
In North
Best damn
Hollywood.
bar show in the Valley.
Thank
Canteen
you.
Points
Thank
at the
you.
Good
Yeah,
Night.
It's the Good Night at 1072 1 Burbank Boulevard. It's every Thursday. Doors open at 7. Come hang out with us sometime.
Yeah.
It's a really good show.
Right down the street from AfterBuzz TV headquarters.
Yeah. Oh, and then also May 9th upcoming, I'm producing a new show at the Skiptown Playhouse called Drop Dead Gorgeous. and
Oh, we
it's,
just did a show together
we just
there.
did a
That
show
place
together
is
there.
great. Yeah.
And it's going to be an LGBT comedy showcase.
Oh, fantastic.
and possibly mix in with a drag night. We don't know yet. We're still working out the details on
Well,
that.
that sounds like a fucking party
So, yeah,
there.
And that's it for me.
That'll be fun. Yeah, check out Joe, and if you're ever in LA, go check out Canteen Points. That is such a fun show, and I like that venue. It's a good spot. And you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Every episode ever at youtube.com/thegoodspod. Shout out to Richard Eden up there in the North Pole doing the hard work at thegoodspod.com. Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes?
All right, y'all. You gotta rate, review, subscribe, and give us what? What's the magic number? A 10. And by 10, I mean 5 stars. Because if you give us 5 stars, you'll get to go see Triple Deep in 6th period.
And you'll get a McGraw-soaked envelope from Disgraceland Studios with a sticker.
You'll get to miss your 6th period at work to go see Triple Deep on YouTube. Because it shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if y'all don't have the attitude of gratitude, y'all don't get to see Triple Deep.
Song of the week this week.
Oh, do we hate school, but you're fun?
And we'll see you next week.
My teacher don't like my music and she don't like my clothes. Up your nose with a rubber hose. I'd like to shove her where the sun don't go. Cause we hate school, but we love rock and roll. Rock and roll. Rock and roll. When I come home, I turn my radio on. My DJ's playing my favorite song. My mother yells, get off the phone. Have you done your homework? Is that radio on? Rock and roll. Rock and roll.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter @TheGoodsPod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter @DJ Smiles.